Right, let's see if we're back up and running. Let's say a few hellos to who's in. Karen B, hello. Shane Walter, Rob Vander Clock, nice to see you guys in. Hello, Owen. Some technical issues with this Hangout at the minute. Hello, Telex and Sandra, P900 Coolpix. Right, I'm going to test to see whether or not my screen share is available. It looks like it is. Oh, bloody hell, it's not. What's going on? This is... oh, this is new. Well, I guess I'm going to have to just do the show without presenting anything, which is going to be a little difficult, I suppose. This has never happened before, I have to say, where you get the option to hit the share button, and it's not giving me that. You can't hover over it, highlight it, nothing. So that isn't going to work for some reason. Very strange, and it was very strange as well after I came out of the Hangout with with Nathan before. It felt like I was hearing somebody rustling in the background every now and then, just when I'm doing my own thing, because I always keep my headphones in, you see, regardless at all times. And just every couple of minutes or something, I'd just hear a little click or a little rustling, just something. And it was very odd because I wasn't playing anything in the background. It was coming through the headphones. I thought it was a little bit weird. And now I'm not getting this option to screen shares. I don't know whether those two events are connected or anything. Maybe I'm just being too conspiratorial, but I've been doing Hangouts for, well, including my old channel, for about 3 years. And I think this is the only time that I've ever promoted something just like this, which was tomorrow's big flat Earth test, a first for flat Earth, and essentially it is. And I wanted you guys to be a part of it. And not getting the option to screen share is just really weird. Must have been on probably close to 1,000 debates in the past, not just on Nathan's, but in ISA's way back when he was doing the debates and stuff. And yeah, I could screen share all I wanted then. I can't do it now. For whatever reason, since I've titled this video, it won't give me the option to share my screen. Screen share, nope, won't allow it. That is crazy. Okay, I guess I'm going to have to do this as a thought experiment. Obviously, after today's debates, if you guys were watching that, you would understand exactly what I mean by that. But I'm not going to go into that on this particular stream. So, okay, so here's the deal, guys. A boat's been hired tomorrow, the cost of which is £250, so 250 English pounds to hire the boat. It's a fishing boat, and there is a captain on the fishing boat, so it's going to be professionally steered in the Irish Sea. And from Prestatyn, where I'll be setting up, there's going to be several people involved in this. It won't just be myself, but there are going to be several other people. Some of them want to be named and some of them don't want to be named. So I'll just keep it as there's going to be several flat earthers involved, and if they want their name to be attached to this, then I'll do that in the credits afterwards. So tomorrow, the boat will be leaving at 12:30, and it's going to be sailing in and around, as I say, in and around Prestatyn. It's going to be able to travel maybe as far as 15 miles away from the coast. And prior to launch, I'm going to get all the measurements of the boat. So I'm going to be asking whoever's getting in the boat to load up, and then I'll be doing some measurements of the boat as it sits in the water. So I'll have an exact height above sea level. There will be GPS on the boat, and there'll be also GPS on their phones as well. So there'll be 2 sets of data for that. And there'll be two-way communication. So I'll be able to contact them. They'll be able to contact me. From the boat, the people on the boat, I know for a fact that at least one of them is going to have a P1000. And I'll have a P1000 myself from the shoreline. And we'll also have a couple of P900s, I believe. We'll also have a drone. We will have mirrors to reflect the sunlight. We'll have lights to, hopefully, if the sun isn't out, we can use those. We're also going to have a drone. Funnily enough, we're going to have a drone. So the idea with this is, it's a shame I can't share my screen because I had a presentation to show you guys. But unfortunately, the gremlins are working, so you're going to have to bear with me with this. But the boat will at some point disappear from my view. So I will at some point lose vision with the boat, and I'm sure that the boat will lose vision with me at some point too. Whether or not those two things happen at the same time, that should be something that should be interesting to find out. However, I want to visualize the boat disappear from view, and then when the boat has disappeared from view, from the boat, I want the drone to ascend in height with a light on, preferably, so that I can zoom into that and notice when I actually first see the drone. So we will have a data set there, a few different sets of data set, but the primary one being how much blockage is there at that particular distance, because we'll have GPS from the boat, we'll have a height above actual sea level by the drone itself as it hovers just on the perceived horizon. And I say perceived horizon because I don't see it as being anything other than an optical blockage. So when I say that, it isn't Earth curve that's causing it. So with that in mind, and once we know that we have visuals on the drone, but we don't have visuals on the boat, the idea then will be to lower a mirror to the side of the boat and reflect the sunlight back in my direction, so that I will be able to hopefully see the reflected sunlight appear through the blockage. So if out of not seeing the boat, all of a sudden we see a flash of light from the mirror, and we're still seeing the drone on the perceived horizon, then we know for a fact that the boat isn't hidden by Earth curve. We know that it's just blockage due to the atmospheric or the limited viewing angle, whichever way you choose to call it. But for whatever reason, sunlight is really strong when it's reflected from a mirror. So I feel that that's our best opportunity to get something to breach that. I also want to, from the destination, we'll have a somewhat straight line along some wind turbines. And it's the same with Soundly, for instance. Soundly shows his pylons going into the distance and showing apparent curve. We know it's just a trick of the light, trick of the optics. And I want to demonstrate that by using the boat. And I'm hoping that the weather will be clear enough that we can visualize the entirety of the boat as it goes along the length of the turbines, thus proving that if we see it at the start of the turbine and we see it at the last turbine, all in its entirety, there is no Earth curve between those wind turbines. But if we see some kind of optical slant on the wind turbine, we can categorically say for sure that it isn't anything to do with any Earth curve. It's just an optical effect. So that's another thing that we want to do. Obviously, we want to know how far away the boat can go before we lose contact with it. Obviously, if you think of the curve calculator, it is the 8 inch per mile squared. We want to try and debunk the notion that it has been in some way refracted up, because we'll be focusing on the boat from its first position will be 4 miles away, and then we'll just be following it right out to sea. So essentially it's going to go to, I would imagine, maybe 10 miles or so would be about the time that we're going to start seeing this inferior mirage happen on the boat. Maybe 8 miles, maybe 10 miles. And I have a feeling that that's when it's going to disappear into that, we used to call it dirty air, I'm not going to say it anymore, but into that zone. A few other things that we have, we've got an infrared camera, and we also have an infrared laser. So the idea being that when they're in the blocked out area, so we no longer see the boat, we're also going to try and shine the infrared pen in my direction, and from the shoreline again I'll have the infrared camera, which will hopefully pick up that, because hopefully it'll be able, if the light from the sun isn't able to penetrate the inferior mirage, perhaps this will. What else do we have? I think that's about it. But all in all, we're basically going to have a good 2 hours or so, I would think, of the boat doing our bidding. So from the shoreline, we can communicate with the boat, tell it where to go, tell it when to stop, tell the people on the boat what we'd like them to do. Let's see if we can do it. You know, get a lot of data. It's all about collecting this data. I think there's going to be a lot of good come from this. I'm very confident that the curve calc will be blown away for a fact. I mean, we can pretty much already know that that's going to happen, that we are going to see way further than we should do on a sphere. We just know that. As for the other stuff, well, as you know, last year we had all this debate about the inferior mirage. I think it's pretty compelling evidence now that the inferior mirage is just atmospheric blockage. It isn't Earth curve. But to be able to prove that by punching through the density of that air, that thick layer just above the water, being able to punch through that and for a light to come through the inferior mirage whilst the drone is hovering on the perceived horizon will be just spectacular. I'm hoping that is the main thing I want to get done tomorrow. Okay, so let's have a look at some people in chat. Let's see some of the questions. So you're saying that the size of the mirror is what's important? No, I didn't say that. I'm saying that sunlight reflected from a mirror is always a stronger light source than just a torch or anything like that. And I have a feeling that you know, shining the mirror from the side of the boat, when we don't see the boat, we don't have visuals on the boat, but we have visuals on the drone that's flying above the boat. If we can use that sunlight to penetrate that inferior mirage, then yeah, we're Billy was pretty sure it's not curvature. Yeah, no, it isn't curvature. There is no curvature, Billy. You know. Oh yes, and by the way, yes, Sandry, a nice shout out to Sheeps and Neeps. I saw him in his hospital today. He's not doing too well, so there you go. There's if you want to go to his channel and check it out, you can see what he was talking about today. And Sandra's put a PayPal link in there if you choose to help out that way. Ninja Man, why are you not staying at home and experiencing the flat Earth? Yeah, that's the thing. If you watch today's show on Nathan Oakley, who's actually in the chat right now, you'll see that there was a lot of experiencing the flat Earth. There was a lot of philosophizing about the shape of the Earth, and essentially a lot of belief in that any kind of test or experiment is useless, and we should only kind of comprehend the flat Earth in our heads for some reason. I don't know how it's gone down this route, but yeah, it's not really for me. Paul Hall, nice to see you in. Take spare mirrors. Yes, Chris, that's a good point. I was thinking of attaching a couple of mirrors to, or at least one mirror to a pole that we could be able to lower right down to the lowest part of the boat. So this is something that we will be doing. We'll have a bigger boat higher up, because obviously we want to be able to just at least see the boat, well, see the mirror reflected. That's the main thing once it's in that inferior mirage. And then if we do that, we might be able to experiment with some smaller mirrors and get some accurate measurements to see at what point we no longer can see the mirror. What else do we have? Experience FE from the comfort of your armchair. Yeah, I could do that. Paul on the plane. Hey, bro, I want to mention on my show tonight your big test tomorrow. Yes, Paul, if you really want to, that would be great. I think it's a first for Flat Earth. This, I don't think anybody's ever gotten hold of a boat that's heading out to sea that the skipper can take orders about where you go, and there'll be a P1000 on that boat, P1000 on the shoreline. There'll be a drone involved, as I said. The drone will float. Once the boat goes out of view, which it will do at some point, it will disappear. It will no longer be able to see through the P1000. At that point, I want the drone to go up to the perceived horizon with a light source on it, see the drone directly above the boat so we know where the boat is, and then I want the mirror reflection from the boat to penetrate the blockage. So whoever's on the boat will be shining the mirror back at me. I have a very strong feeling that the mirror will penetrate that that blockage, and that will definitely disprove any kind of curvature. The blockage won't be curvature. Can you cover the first? Want to explicitly mention that? Well, Paul, I think it's a first for Flat Earth in that, not like I say, I don't think a group of individuals like this have ever gone and hired a boat, headed out to sea, P1000 looking back at a P1000, and a test to actually find out whether or not the inferior mirage and the blockage that blocks out the boat as the boat apparently goes over the horizon, right, is actually going over the horizon or not. And we should be able to formulate, like I say, what I've discussed earlier on. We should be able to prove one way or another, or at least attempt to try and prove one way or the other. I'm not going to definitely say for sure that the mirror won't be able to penetrate that band of inferior mirage. I suspect it will. So I can't say that it's going to be definitive one way or the other. If we don't see the light, it doesn't necessarily mean that's game over. There's curvature there. It just means that we maybe need to try a different light source or a different approach to that. But I have a strong feeling that we're going to see through that inferior mirage with that mirror. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So Paul, yeah. So the drone will have a light source attached to the bottom of it, hover up to the perceived horizon above the boat till we see the drone. Then we've got our point there, so we know on the drone it'll have a GPS. So we'll be able to say, an altimeter. So we'll be able to say, okay, the drone is at 18 feet above actual sea level, and now we're getting to see it. So that's the line that we now, where we think the horizon is, that's where it's being shown by the height of the drone. So we know that we've got 18 feet. Then the people on the boat shine the mirror back towards land, and if we see that flash from the mirror, then the blockage that's blocking the boat out isn't curvature. Who else have we got? Ali B, or stick the protractor app on the drone and fly the drone out with the boat filming it. Yeah, well, I'm going to do that when we go to Scotland, Ali B. We're going to go back, the same crew are going to go back to, in a month's time, we're going to head up to Loch Ness, and we're going to do that up there. Shane Walter, yeah, it will penetrate it. I have faith that it will, and I hope it does. And like I say, I want to get a secondary mirror. I've also got an infrared laser pen. So if the mirror can't penetrate it, I'm going to ask them to shine that and look through an infrared camera to hopefully see it from the shore, because we'll have that too. So we've got two ways of trying to see this. Yeah, I'm going to catch up on Loch Ness, Arwin. But I'll talk about the Loch Ness one nearer to the time, because that's going to happen in a month. And, you know, we've got some exciting ideas for that, actually. Some, you know, it's different to this. This is a different experiment to the other one that we're going to be doing tomorrow. But there are a few people involved, and it's really cool. And when I say it's a first, I haven't seen anybody else do this. So it is really going after it's basically going after that inferior mirage. Not, you know, obviously seeing the boat further than the curve calcs is going to be a given. We know that's going to happen. That's not even an issue for me. No problems with that. But whether or not we can penetrate that inferior mirage, well, let's see. Let's go and test it. Let's go and see whether we can do that. Simon Grabowski, any Baltards coming along? Listen, the door's open. If Baltards want to come along, it's on my stream now. It's Prestatyn. It's in Wales, North Wales. It's tomorrow. It's at 12:30. So just after lunch. So if those guys want to get down to the promenade there, I'm sure they will see a bunch of flat earthers on the promenade. They'll see a bunch of flat earthers on the boat, and we'll just be doing our thing. If they want to join in and participate, it's not, you know, I'm not going to say no. They can cry into the globe. They can cry globe tears, and I'll film it. How's that? Right. So as I say, it's just an absolute bummer that I can't share screens. I have no idea why this is happening. Honestly, I have no idea why it won't allow me to share my screen. I even restarted my PC before I went live, so it can't be a fault that way. It's like you know, if anybody else is doing a live stream, in fact, I might test that up after we've finished this. I might start a few more live streams up in private and just see whether or not I can get it to work, because it's not working right now. Anyway, guys, I will be live streaming it tomorrow. I need to hook up the P1000 to my camera. If anybody's got that link to a video that somebody did that shows you how to couple the camera to the phone, I would love to watch that, because it would be nice to actually do the live stream through the P1000. Globebusters. Try reversing the power coupling to the walk. It's not Back to the Future, Bob. Ali B, good luck tomorrow. Have a good one. I hope so. I hope it's just nice weather. I'm not too bothered about it unless it rains. You know, I think raining will just kill it off completely. So I don't want that to happen. South is the opposite of the magnetic attraction. Star Trek. Oh, Star Trek, was it? Well, it was Back to the Future. Never mind. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. If anybody knows of that video, email it me or leave a comment in this, in the stream afterwards. I would really love to know how to connect the P1000 to my my phone. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I know it's only been a quick one. And oh, Ron Hadber, there you go. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Oh, and Nathan, thanks for the super chat as well.